Hey everyone, Joey here, and today we're going to take a look at the 8BitDo Pro 3 controller that they just sent me, and it has some upgrades over the Pro 2, so we'll take a look at it, see if it's worth your money, and see if it's just an overall good controller. My favorite controller is still the GameSir G7 Pro that I have here. This is what I use, so I want to know if this is better than that, or if maybe they're different use cases. We'll find out. First up, let's go with what's in the box, and I have already unboxed it because I've been using it. And obviously you have the actual controller, which we're going to spend a lot of time on, so we'll come back to this. But you also have a charging dock here. They usually do. Fits right on. Now what's cool about this is you can plug in the USB-C cable here, and it'll actually update the device while it's on the charging dock. So you don't really need to plug in the USB cable to the controller to get it to work. What's also cool is under here is a magnetized, I don't know, holder of ABXY buttons and their magnetic puller thing. We'll take a look at this because the actual face buttons are removable. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. But obviously, and something new here for this model, we have a USB-C dongle for 2.4 gigahertz wireless, which is absolutely necessary to play on a PC, anything really. You want to use this where you can. So awesome to have this. Continuing on, and we have a manual, of course, and then we have a nice little box, and let's take a quick look and see what's in here. Looks like we have a USB-C to A cable for charging or connecting for updating. And we also have yellow joystick replacements, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. Okay, so first things first, I want to check out replacing the ABXY buttons. Now I have not tried this, but they give you this little tool. It's got like a little suction cup on it, and you push down and you just pull off, and it just comes right off. And then you can just use one of these to just go in the same spot. I don't think I need to use the tool to just put it in the same spot. It's keyed, looks like. Yeah, there we go. So now, just easy replacements of the buttons. Personally, I like the original ones, so I'm going to keep this off to the side. I don't really want to use this, but you can swap the buttons if you want. And it seems easy enough as long as you get the key in the right spot. Let me see. I want to know if the keys are the same. So they are. So you can put all the buttons in any spot that you want. So if you want an Xbox layout or Nintendo layout, whatever you like, you can do. Now, another option is these little, I don't even know, arcade sticks, whatever they are. I'm guessing these just pop right off. Yes, they do. So you just pull, hopefully, and then you just put these guys in. So we're just going to throw this in. And I can already tell I am never, ever going to use this. Ever. These are really tall. I don't even, this is too much. Is there anybody in the world that wants this? I don't know. Or why? It also clicks a little bit. It feels like it's, maybe I didn't put it in right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the use case would be for these. I don't want to use it like this. Maybe if you're doing something like this, but let's go back to the originals. So that's kind of the big changes here. We've already talked about them. There's the swappable magnetic ABXY buttons. There's the TMR joysticks. We have a linear switch on the back for the triggers. We'll talk about it in a little bit. The 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle that we talked about. And all of this is $70 US, which is pretty fair for what you're getting here, I think. Now let's do a very quick tour of the actual controller. And we have a bigger style D-pad here, which I like. And I actually really like the feel of this. It feels good. It feels tactile in a lot of different ways. A lot of the 8BitDo controllers are hit and miss for D-pads, but I find this one to be pretty good, in my opinion. We have the TMR joysticks, which obviously fantastic joysticks. We have some very loud buttons here. Not an issue on my part. I'm kind of used to Xbox controller buttons, and those are really loud, but these can be on the loud side if that is something that you're worried about. On the top, we have our shoulder buttons. We have our triggers, which are analog, but also you can change to digital. We'll do that in a second. And we have L4 and R4, which are just extra buttons that you can use. And so looking at the back, this is the little switches. This is new to this controller. When you turn these on, basically turns into digital style triggers. And I like this a lot. This is useful for Switch, obviously, but also if you want to use it for first-person shooters or whatever use case you can think of, you can do so. Then obviously we have more buttons. It's just buttons and buttons and buttons. On the back, we have some back buttons here and our switch to go from Windows to Android to Switch. So you have the SX, D, and S inputs. Okay, so first thing I want to do is try it out with the Switch 2. And so what you have to do is throw this into Switch on the bottom, and then we're going to go push start to turn it on. Then you're going to hold the pairing button for 3 seconds just to get it to pair. And you can see it's in pairing mode. And we'll just jump over to the Switch, go over to controllers, and change grip. And it should just recognize right away. Let's find out. There we are. Perfect. Now we're in. Let's check out some games. So for me, my D-pad test, or really any controller test, is playing Super Mario World, and I need to see it. I need to see if I can go through, just do what I normally do without feeling any weirdness. And I can already tell I really like this D-pad, nice and big. You probably or maybe can't hear how loud the ABXY buttons are. They're very clicky, and that will probably annoy a lot of people. It's a very loud click each time I push down. I might have to turn off my microphone suppression so you can hear it, but it's very loud and that's probably going to annoy a lot of people. But this, yeah, this is very accurate, feels nice. I'm really liking the D-pad for retro platformers. This is easy enough for me to use. Big fan of this. Absolutely, this is great. And then I figure, why don't I just try some Super Smash Brothers? A game that I really enjoy, and will probably tell me a lot about the actual controls for the sticks and the buttons. And feels normal. The sticks are a little bit slippery, I think. Maybe could use a different cat, but feels fine. I can do anything that I want. We got Link on the ropes here. Can control the PK power. Listen, I am no expert at Smash, but I enjoy it. Yeah, it's a little slippery on the sticks, I think. Not very easy to grab. I can feel the top of it just sliding, and that doesn't feel that great. Yeah, I think my only complaints here so far using it is these sticks. They are slippery on the top here. Definitely a little slippery, more than I'm used to, and maybe it's something you get used to over time. Or if you can put some caps on there, that's probably better. But that's kind of my only complaint so far using everything, besides the loudness of the buttons, but that's not really a big problem to me, but it can be for a lot of people. Next up, I want to try it on Windows, and I have my GPD Pocket 4 here, USB-C right on in, and it was the exact same thing and it connected right away. So you just throw it into SX for Windows mode, push start, and it found it instantly. I didn't even have to do anything. And we can now check out how it works for a fighting game on Windows. And so for me, I just want to see how the Hadoukens go, how fighting game moves go. I'm not a fighting game person, but I like to just check this out, make sure that you can do any move that you want. And it seems like it's doing pretty well. Where's the spinning kick? There we are. No latency that I could see. Seems like very, very fast, which is good. 2.4 gigahertz mode, that's exactly what you want for no latency, especially on Windows, but really anything, as long as you can use it. And this feels great. This feels normal. I don't feel any latency at all. I can do any moves that I want. I am sometimes hitting the left stick when I am trying to do Hadoukens, but it's nothing exceptionally crazy. This feels good as a controller, the comfort-wise. Usually I'm a big fan of the Xbox style controllers. These feel a lot better to me overall. And I think even looking at this today, I still prefer this over this for pretty much everything. But this isn't bad either. It's a different type of holding. And maybe some people have gotten used to this with the Pro 2. But I'm just an Xbox person style controller. That's kind of what I like. Okay, so last test here, and I wanted to see if USB-C 2.4 would work with Android on my portal. And I'm gonna guess it doesn't, and I have to throw this into D for Android. Push start. Let's take a quick look. Let's see if it does get recognized. I doubt it. No, it doesn't. Doesn't seem like it would work. Maybe some Android devices you could have that work, but seems like with the portal, it wants to make it a physical keyboard for whatever reason. So instead, we are going to connect it through Bluetooth, and that's pretty easy. You just turn on your Bluetooth, and we'll head over there, pair new device, and it finds it right there, 8BitDo Pro 3. Should connect pretty easily. And there we go. We're great. We're already in. Don't have to do anything. Let's test this out. Now, what's super cool is actually I didn't have to touch anything for mapping inputs, at least in Dolphin. So when you go over to the device, the usual device is the Odin controller. That's how you have it set up. But if I change it to the 8BitDo Pro 3, all of the buttons, sticks, everything is mapped the exact same. So I don't actually have to touch anything. I could just go into a game and it's going to recognize the exact same controls that I had. This won't work for every emulator. RetroArch is probably going to have an issue with this, but Dolphin, easy enough to just connect another controller. Okay, and so we have Dolphin here. We're looking at Mario Sunshine with the 60 FPS patch applied and widescreen hacks. And we just want to see how everything works. It seems like my rumble needs to be changed. So one thing that actually does need to be changed is the rumble. My portal is going crazy right now, and that probably has to be moved to the controller. So there is one single setting that you need to change unless you want to disable rumble completely. So what you want to do is come down to rumble and motor, and you want to throw it to the 8BitDo Pro 3, and it doesn't look like it's showing because usually Bluetooth controllers don't have it. So I'm going to clear it. I'm going to turn it off completely, and that way there's no rumble on anything. That is just an unfortunate side effect with Android and Bluetooth controllers and rumble, unfortunately. Otherwise, we're looking at Mario Sunshine here. Just want to test out the triggers, see how they're doing. And yeah, it runs well. If we look at input latency, this feels good. I don't feel any latency that I can think of. There is the normal Bluetooth amount of latency, but doesn't feel like there's anything added on. It doesn't feel like it's anything abnormal. Here, I can pretty much move normally as I can think of. So that's good. That no added latency that I can see. So let's kind of wrap up my thoughts here on the Pro 3. It's a controller. There isn't anything that we need to make this a long video on. Personally, I am still a big fan of the G7 Pro, but again, this goes back to me just liking Xbox controller style layouts better than the style boomerang of whatever this is. There's some key differences here. The sticks on the G7 Pro are a lot better, mostly because there is no slippery anything, and it does feel like they have a little bit more range of motion, I think. That is a little tough to see, but it does feel like they might have a little bit more. Yeah, you can even see it here on camera. They're just wider. So I kind of like these a lot better. Buttons-wise, same thing. I'm a big fan of the G7 Pro's controller buttons. They are a little bit more silent, a little bit not as clacky as these are, which probably is going to annoy a lot of people. Otherwise, D-pad, I don't know. I could go both ways. I'm a big fan of this style D-pad, but I kind of like this D-pad too. So I'm going to give it to both. If we take a look at the back, they are pretty much the exact same with features. You get the style, the trigger gate, whatever you want to call it. This one has an extra style feature where you can just turn off or on these buttons. So if you turn them off, like I had them before, now you can't click them. It's an extra feature that's really cool. But today's all about the Pro 3. This is my controller to beat. That's why I want to talk about this, just in case maybe you have one of these or are looking at one. Maybe you want to know the difference. This still comes out ahead for me. Pro 3 by itself, I don't know. I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it either. I think it's a good controller. I think anybody that maybe likes the Pro 2 and wants a better Pro 2 will probably like this quite a bit. TMR upgrade, the linear triggers upgrade, the magnetic swappable. I don't know how many times people are going to use that. Those are all good upgrades, but yeah. So it just seems like it's a better Pro 2, which for a lot of people is probably all you need. That's really all I have for you today. Just a nice quick video on the Pro 3, my thoughts, and hopefully that helps you. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.